What's happening, YouTubeverse? It's your boy Darkularity, and thank you for tuning in to another update for the game we love, Icarus. Now, this week's update is a week 74 update, and although it's not a super massive update, I think it's still a good one, and we are getting ever closer to the release of Galileo, right? So fishing and all that stuff, so I'm super excited. So let's jump into this update here. So this week's update, Icarus week 74, new dynamic mission, Simple Lost. Now, I don't know if everyone else calls it simple or just goes by SMPL3. I know that stands for something else. I think it stands for Simplified Mission Prospector Liaison or something like that, but I'm just gonna call it simple because it's easier to say. So this week brings a new dynamic mission and a bunch of dynamic mission fixes. Jump in and play Simple 3. Alrighty then, let's see. Week 74 brings both new dynamic mission, Simple Lost, and fixes to the dynamic mission. System to clean up some errors that have affected players over the last couple of weeks. I haven't really done any over the last couple of weeks, so I haven't actually seen any missions. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what issues you guys run into. This new quest will have you searching for abandoned prospector base, a new variation of a dynamic mission that we haven't done before. Now, I read through this before, and I think this mission sounds pretty sweet. So we also give an update to Galileo as we move into the internal testing phase to discuss our upcoming closed public test for players and give us feedback before launch. Jump in and have a read. As always, we always do. So Simple 3 Lost, or Simple 3, what am I talking about? Simple Lost. Dynamic missions have been incredibly popular since we introduced them in week 50, so we're excited to bring you another new option that you can launch from the short-range radio in the open world. It's awesome. Simple Lost is a new dynamic mission where players have to locate an old abandoned prospector's base on the surface of Icarus. Players will need to quickly rebuild the structure while creatures attack your position. Once complete, the players can place a beacon down for the UDA to mark its location on the map. You will be able to loot the base for old prospector gear when you first arrive, so keep an eye out for what might be lying around. That's pretty cool. I actually like that there's going to be just a structure that we have to defend and rebuild. Ward off enemies. I hope in tonight's stream that I'll be able to do one of these missions, maybe, because I'd like to get some missions done possibly tonight too in the stream. Anyways, moving on. Simple mission cleanups, fixes, and balances. So we've made some fixes and tweaks to our simple mission, looking to clean up some of the issues that have been affecting you. Triggering a new simple mission or abandoning previous ones will now trigger and clean up any remaining old map icons, quest objectives, and landed transport pods that you may have encountered in error when trying to clean themselves up in the past. This should remove old map markers, search areas, and other missions related to details from the player's open worlds. Now, I haven't really run into any major issues or bugs with any of the simple missions I've done. I've noticed that sometimes the UI glitches out and I'll get like an empty icon on like the left-hand side, or not empty icon, but like empty UI on the left-hand side of the screen where simple missions usually are. Other than that, I think that's the only issue I ever really had. Galileo progress. Our upcoming content patch, Galileo, is almost ready, woohoo, and is now being internally tested by our entire team. For those unaware, Galileo is the first of our bigger content patches as part of our new cadence, which you can read about here. Our Steam cards, badges, profiles, emotes were all approved by Valve and are ready for release. Now, if you guys remember last week, they mentioned that they had submitted those to Valve and were waiting approval. So it's good to know that those have come through. I'm excited to actually be able to get some achievements and stuff. These will be revealed when Galileo launches, so check them out on the Steam Workshop very soon. Fishing is receiving one more iteration as we make tweaks to the mechanics so that it feels more reactive and engaging for players. This will go into testing alongside everything else very soon. So that's per fishing is almost wrapped up, it looks like. I'm sure they're gonna have to do some stuff after it launches, but we'll see. We're also preparing a closed beta test for Galileo and we'll start some testing soon before making it fully public. Joining the Discord is the best way to get any updates on whether we need players to test this in advance for launch. I will see if they post anything in Discord that allows me to maybe get into the closed public test. If that's a possibility, maybe I'll do that and release a video for you guys. Okay, so moving on, the changes for this week. So we've got a little bit of new content to go over. They updated Simple Lost and enabled the dynamic quest. Removed campfire from Simple Lost and added drying rack. I think it's silly to even get a campfire from a mission reward. By the time you're doing missions, like you probably have campfires, right? So things like that, even a drying rack, I don't wish the rewards were a little more substantial, right? Other than things that you're already going to have, you're just going to throw it away. So it kind of blurs, I think, the motivation to do the simple quests. I've got some pretty cool stuff early on, right? In my open world playthrough, we got the, what was it? The furnace from that. So that was pretty cool. Updated origin spawn location, dynamic base 1. Updating lost loot quest step to auto-complete. It's optional and item spawns are percentage based. Adding new images for simple lost. Removing T2 communicator from the simple lost mission. Reducing simple frequency as it was high for experimental testing, and balancing loot drops. Reducing simple frequency. I don't know what that means. Like how often you get missions? I mean, I feel like once you finish the mission, it's already there. So I wonder if that's changed now. I guess we'll see. What they fixed, so they updated many UI elements that could be correctly translated. Updated refrigerator description to correctly mention the no longer greatly slow spoilage. That's good to know, because I know the description before, and I mentioned it in some of my videos. The description said that it completely stopped spoilage, which obviously wasn't true because my food was still spoiling. So I'm glad that they fixed that. Updated incendiary round description to not mention explosions. Oh, but we want explosions. Couldn't you have just updated the incendiary round to include an explosion? Updated fruit salad flavor text to mention that it's a dessert rather than a desert. Good. Waterfall update mission step to mention supply crate rather than dropship. Fixed material slots on stone statue DMs. Fixed a typo in the quest table. Fixed titanium 200, 500, 5,000 accolades, all to unlock at 1,000 mind. Maybe they fixed it so that it unlocks properly? Because, I mean, if you mine 5,000 titanium, why would it unlock at 1,000 titanium? I don't understand. I mean, I don't really know what they mean there. Prevented pre-chewed corpses from providing rewards that would otherwise only be available with specific stats. So I wonder if previous to this fix, if they, you know, if a Komodo ran up and chewed the corpse, if the bonuses you got from, say, the hunting tree to get more bones or more leather were maybe being applied. So in this case, those bonus stats aren't being applied unless you physically skin the animal. Adding in more quest cleanup logic for dynamic drop pods. Search areas, map locations, dynamic drop pods will now trigger a cleanup when a new mission is started, abandoned, or ended. So that's good. So we're not going to have stuff in the map. They mentioned that up above. When you do a simple quest, whether you finish it, start a new one, or abandon it, or it ends, it's going to automatically clean up anything associated with that simple quest. Sorry. So right on. Save game variables now trigger on reps upon database load. EQS find dynamic quest location building no longer accepts areas close to building geometry like rocks and trees. I guess that means that the dynamic buildings, when they spawn in when you start the mission, they're hopefully not going to be placed if there are trees and rocks there, so it won't destroy them, or there will be no clipping. It'll only place them in open areas. Replace expensive nearby dynamic mission beacon test form. Fixed an issue where the quest board single wasn't selecting a quest board within a currently loaded world tile. So that makes sense. So I guess the missions maybe change when you're in a different tile of the world each one. So it pulls from that area. Adjusting search area color and removing logging from various files. Reduce difficulty of standard creatures around spawned, allowing additional creatures to be spawned at a single time, increasing the frequency of worm spawns at harder difficulties, but lowered at easier difficulties, correctly scaled by quest difficulty rather than prospector difficulty. Okay, I wonder if that means for the simple missions. I imagine it would be. Dynamic mission reward pods now spawn slightly further away, mainly to resolve build mission pods dropping directly on the building. Adding loot to simple lost, increased performance cost of generating dynamic mission spawn locations in world where multiple communicator boards have been placed, reducing the maximum spawn distance of supply transport pod in the lost dynamic mission. More quest cleanup fixes that should fix drones and other quest map markers staying longer after quest completion, and increase the size of minimum obstructed area check by 30% when looking for a place to dynamically spawn a building. And then of course they got their future update, but I'm not going to read through this. If you guys want to read through this, go ahead. This is everything that's probably going to come in Galileo and future updates. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm excited for this one. I think having these dynamic missions and being able to scavenge and repair other prospectors' bases or prospectors that were here previously, I think that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to add something totally different to the way that we play open world, and I like the fact that we're going to be able to loot those places. Anyways, I think I'll wrap this one up here, guys. If you like this video, please smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. If you want to catch my videos or you want to get these updates every week, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Anyways, everyone, I will see you next time. Thanks again. Peace.